So, as we come to Revelation chapter 18 today, just want you to imagine for a minute. Imagine that someone living near you is incredibly wealthy. They've got a huge mansion, a swimming pool, an absolutely delightful garden. They've got servants working in the place. They've got the cars that you'd always dreamed of. They've got a speedboat, all those things. And you kind of look at them and think, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. But then imagine that you found out the sources of that wealth. That actually this person living in such a lavish lifestyle has made that money by selling drugs. And by selling drugs through a system of people that actually get people hooked on the kind of stuff that they sell. Those people are addicts whose lives are misery, utter misery. And perhaps you get to hear some of the stories about people who actually sell their bodies in order to actually feed their drug habit. I wonder how you'd feel about that rich person now. You might envy that lifestyle, but you wouldn't want to be a part of it, would you? Well, when we come to Revelation chapter 18 today, I guess that is a little bit of the story of what we've got in this chapter. See, what we've got in this chapter is a story of utter lavish lifestyles, of excessive lifestyles, of merchants who are trading in all sorts of goods and materials and enabling the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer. Why do you say the poor get poorer? Well, one of the cargoes that you read about in this chapter, verse 13, it says, cargoes of cinnamon, spice, of incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, carriages, and human beings sold as slaves. You see, Rome had an amazing and awful slave labour force that kept it going, and some of those slaves did quite well, but the majority, they lived terrible lives. And slavery was a thing that we thought we got rid of. I say we, human beings. Wilberforce did an amazing job to actually persuade governments that actually slaves weren't necessary. But what of today? What about the systems of our day? There are so many people who are being traded for sex, whose lives are commodities once more. Our whole system is built on the haves getting more, often at the expense of the have-nots having even less. I wonder, how do you feel about that? How should Christians feel about that? Because one of the things in this chapter is it talks about Babylon, it talks about empire, it talks about Rome, it talks about a whole system whereby the rich live excessive and luxurious lifestyles. The poor pay the price for that. And yet one day, this chapter says, all that will be reversed. Imagine then with that person living that lifestyle of luxury, suddenly finding that another cartel has moved onto the scene and they're going to push them out. They're going to strip their assets. Well, this chapter says that one day, even those empires that look impregnable, they will have their comeuppance. But here's another question for you. In Rome, many people lived beautiful lifestyles. They lived the dream. I guess in our day and age, many people live the dream. But one thing this chapter says is that can all come crashing down very quickly. Things that we think are actually always going to go on and on, they can fall in an instant. Does it make you think about coronavirus? Do you know, in a matter of weeks, the whole system of global trade has come to a grinding halt. It kind of makes you wonder. Maybe the things that we think are eternal, maybe really aren't. And so the big question I've got in this chapter today is, it says to the Christians, John says, come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. So here's the thing I'm grappling with. What does it mean to be a Christian in the empires of our day? How do we actually come out of the system that we are so much a part of? What does it look like for Christians to live differently when everybody around us is so caught up in the way things are? What does that mean for me? What does it mean for you? How do we learn the lesson of Revelation 18? How do we learn the lesson of being in the world but not of it? I wonder.